Hey, I'm Michael. Today I'm going to talk about doing some Amazon wholesale product hunting. If you're looking to add products to your Amazon business and you're trying to find the right opportunities, that's what we're going to dive into today. First, we're going to jump into what is Amazon wholesale. So if you've already gone through all of this, you can skip ahead in the video, but I really want to jump into the basic principles behind Amazon wholesale. So first off, we have someone, let's call him Bill. Bill has a t-shirt company. He makes t-shirts in a factory and then he ships them off to vendors. So Bill makes the shirts, he ships them off to vendors, and let's say he sells them for $10 a piece, and then the vendor sells them for $20 in their corner store, be it a gas station, this could even be Walmart, it could be a corner store, it could be a thrift shop, wherever. They sell them for $20 a piece. So then Bill makes $10 when he sells the product, minus his cost of goods and minus his other expenses. That's his profit. That is the business model behind Bill's business. Jerry, who owns the corner store, he's going to sell it for $20 minus the cost of $10. That's the wholesale price that Bill gave him, minus his rent, his staff, and his other expenses. Jerry's going to have his profit left over, right? This is traditionally how business is done. Now, the difference here is instead, we're going to introduce Steve, who, like Jerry, is going to buy at a wholesale price and he's going to sell at a retail price, but instead he's going to do it on Amazon, preferably through Amazon FBA. Let's jump in a little bit into Amazon FBA. So first, let's talk about Amazon FBM. This feels a lot more like if you were to buy products to sell on eBay. You buy products from multiple different companies, you bring them into your house, you put them in your garage or your warehouse, and then as people buy them, you pack them up yourself and then you ship it out to them. Or maybe you have people that work for you that do this. The point is, you handle all fulfillment, you handle all warehousing. Well, Amazon innovated on this and decided, well, what if instead you pay us a fee and instead all of the products get shipped to you and then you ship them directly to us. Some people even ship them directly from their supplier right into the Amazon warehouse. And this is how Amazon's able to do Amazon Prime. They're able to shorten their shipping window because they're not worried about anyone else in this process. They're able to control that the final stages of the purchase process. This is how Amazon FBA works. Okay, so I've updated our graph a little bit. So we have the two business models. Business model A is you buy wholesale and you sell at your corner store. But then business model B, you're buying wholesale, the same price as if you're selling in a store, and instead you're gonna sell on Amazon. So you're selling for that retail price, and Amazon handles the distribution. So that is, in a nutshell, what is Amazon wholesale? What is Amazon FBA? Just so that we're all on the same page before I jump in and we start finding what are the ideal products to build out your business for Amazon wholesale. Here I am on Amazon. So first thing I'm going to do is I want to come over here to best sellers. And now best sellers are going to be very competitive. There's going to be a lot of people jumping on trying to sell these products. But one thing that you can always do is you can niche down. There's riches and niches, as they say. So I can come over here and I can see any other department. For example, I can dive into baby. So here's the top 100 items, the top 50 items in baby, and then if I see the next page, I can see the next 50. Well, in babies, we can look into, let's look into nursery, for example. Okay, and then in nursery, I can actually dig into, let's do decor for nursery, and we can see what are the top products in decor for nursery. These are the top 100 products, and if any of these are interesting to me, I can look into them and see if it's a viable option for me to sell myself on Amazon. I'm looking for products that I think that I can source. So one thing that I'll do, for example, let's jump into the Yoga Sleep Hush portable white noise sound machine. So we're gonna jump into this. A couple things I need to know first is Amazon selling this product? Why? Because if Amazon is one of the sellers of this product, I'm gonna be forced to compete with Amazon, and Amazon will win the buy box most of the time. Amazon tends to cheat, while everyone else who's within 2% of the price is going to get a share of the buy box. Amazon will get an outstanding share, and even if they're not within that 2% of the buy box. This product clearly ships from Amazon.com and it's sold by Amazon.com. So instantly that's a red flag for me. I do not want to sell this product. We're gonna go back before, and we're gonna keep going down our list, looking through, trying to find a product that's a winning product that we, trying to find that winning product. Let's jump to the next 100 and see what we can find. Another thing we're looking for with any of these products is not only do we not want Amazon to be selling the product, we also don't want the owner of the brand to be the only seller. So it looks like this is the Cloth Mile store is the brand. So Cloth Mile is the brand, and then let's look and see. So it's not sold by Amazon. Let's jump in and let's see who it's sold by. And let's see if there's multiple offers, because this is the other big thing. If there's only one person selling it, then odds are good that we won't be able to sell it. And it looks like I'm not seeing any other offers. Let me keep looking here. So these guys might be the exclusive seller of this product, which means that once again, this is one that we'd have to redline. It's not going to be an option for us as Amazon sellers. But you can keep going down this list and looking through line by line. Another thing that you can do once you find a product is maybe this product doesn't work out, but you can look for adjacent products that maybe would work out for you. Let's look at this one right here and see who sells it. So it's sold by Decal Mile, and it looks like it's the Decal Mile store. So instantly that's a red flag for me that they sell their own product. So that means that they probably won't let me jump in and be a wholesaler for this product. So as you can see, this becomes a really tedious process as we go through this. So then let's look at a better process. This is why we created Smart Scout, to make your product hunting easier. So let's jump over to Smart Scout. Here I am on the dashboard. First off, let's do the technique that we were just doing, but let's speed it up a little bit. So I'm gonna click on subcategories. These subcategories are the ones that we just saw. I can start at the top and work my way in, like we worked our way down to baby decor, and we can even do that right now. All right, so here we are. And we said we want to jump into baby. So baby products, FYI, they do $1.4 billion a month on Amazon. And if we jump into that, we once again can find nursery, and we can get some top-down information of the nursery is $409 million a month. We can also see how much is seller revenue share versus Amazon revenue share, which is super helpful. Amazon revenue share, if that's ever high, then we know we're likely to run into those products that we just did where Amazon is the only one selling it. Or Amazon is a seller. So let's jump into decor. This is where we were playing before. We can see wall decor does 21 million a month. Nightlight does 10 million a month. Another thing that I can see as well is I can come over here and I can see how many sellers are in each category. This is helpful because I can compare brands with sellers. If there's the same amount of brands or close to the same amount of brands as sellers, then odds are good that actually the brands might just be selling themselves. So that there might not be any opportunities for us. But let's jump into this anyway. Let's jump into sleep soothers really quick. So I want to see all of the brands in sleep soothers. Okay, so here's all of the brands that are there. Here's how much revenue they're each doing. And then I want to see I want to see how many sellers they each have, and that'll be a tip off as to whether or not it's an opportunity. So top down, I can see how much revenue each of these brands are doing, and I can see the average number of sellers. Now this will tip me off instantly as to whether or not there's opportunity for me to jump in as a wholesale seller. Once again, brands that only have one seller, it's likely they either have an exclusive relationship, which means they've agreed with a certain wholesaler that they want to work exclusively with them and there's certain benefits to that relationship, or Amazon is the seller directly, or it's the own brand themselves that's selling it. So any one of those three options, it's probably not going to be a good opportunity for us. But what I can do is I can actually filter out all of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want there to be at least 2 different sellers of each of these brands. So here's a list of 44 brands that are more likely to have a conversation with me. So now we're going to jump into these. Let's look at their products. And then the next test, now that they've passed the first test, is we need to look at Amazon in-stock rate. So the Amazon in-stock rate is in the last 30 days. What percentage of the days? So the Amazon in-stock rate is in the last 90 days. What percentage of the days was Amazon in stock in this product? So we want the maximum to be 20%. So I'm going to say that the max I want to see Amazon is 20%. You could do 15% as well. And that really trims this list down. But here's the Fisher-Price products that have sold well recently. And Amazon is not dominant on them. So maybe it's worth a conversation. It's worth looking into how you can source these products. Now, given that it's Fisher-Price and it's found in many stores, I could also see these being actually arbitrage options. But any one of these products that you're interested in, you can go ahead and you can add it to a collection. And you can do that by coming over here. You can add it to a collection. You can create a new collection, or just add it to, I'm just gonna create a wholesale product hunting collection. All right, and we just went ahead and added that one there. Looks like it's a high seller. And we can also go through and see specifically for each ASIN how many sellers they have. So the number of sellers and the number of FBA sellers as well, which is important to know, because then we can see if there's people competing with us in the FBM space versus the FBA space. So like lots of these products here that we're actually seeing that Amazon's not on, well, there's actually no one even selling it FBA. So there might be other things for us to consider as to why aren't other people selling it FBA? It could be a sizing issue. It could be that the fees just don't make sense for you to be able to sell it FBA wise. But here's a good product. It looks like, and it's being sold FBA by at least one person. It's doing $165,000 a month. So I'm going to add that to my, we're gonna find our wholesale product hunting list, and we're just gonna keep going, keep this process going. Now, I'm gonna teach you guys a different technique. So this is clearly a lot faster than what we were just doing. The ability to filter is really powerful, and we can actually really trim this list down by saying, hey, I want to see products where there's at least one FBA seller. So really the only limitation of Smart Scout is whatever filters you can figure out is how you sift through all of the stuff to find the gold, because we have over 15 million products over here on Smart Scout for you to analyze and sift through. So understand what you're looking for. So once again, the reason why I want to see at least one FBA seller is that rules out some of those products that maybe just aren't super FBA friendly. It could be a high shipping cost, could be a large item, whatever reason, I don't want to be tackling those products. So here's a list of 400 products that have at least one FBA seller. And once again, it's ranked by revenue. We already saved this guy. And you can also come over here and you can add it. You can actually add the collections column, which makes it super easy. I can just add all of these right now. I'm gonna actually filter one more time, and I'm gonna say, I want each of these products to be doing at least, let's say, $2,000 a month in revenue. Okay, so now I've got a 127 item hit list, and I don't wanna go through that right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click here, add them all to that exact same collection that we did before, the wholesale product hunting. And that will be good to go. And now at any time I can go to my collections and I can open up these products and look at them again. I can do the next steps of the sourcing process. Now, this is just one of the many techniques we can use to do some product hunting using Smart Scout. The next technique is we're gonna actually jump over into the sellers tool. Why are we starting with sellers if what we're looking for is products and brands? First off, let's talk about why are we looking for brands? Well, as we've seen, finding a product takes some time, but just by finding Fisher Price, we were able to find tons of products at once. So in almost an equal time of investment, we found multiple products versus just finding the one product. So I definitely recommend starting at the brand level and finding products that way. Now, the next tier is to jump into the seller level. Why? Because a good wholesaler will have multiple brands. So once again, we're using that same logic of going from finding products to finding brands to finding sellers, because the sellers will show us brands and the brands will show us products, and we can scale our time faster. That's what this is all about, is scaling your own productivity. So I'm gonna jump in, I'm gonna hit search. So if you hit search, you can see all 1.8 million seller accounts. And now we need to filter them out into accounts that we think we can find inspiration from. For example, there's Amazon up here, there's Pattern, there's these huge companies. I'm not looking to compete with them today. Right now, I just want to find normal wholesalers. So first off, we're going to filter by number of brands selling. Why? Because a wholesale seller is going to be selling multiple brands. So I'm gonna say that the minimum is gonna be 4. Let's actually bump that up. Let's actually bump that up to, the minimum is gonna be 8. So these are all going to be sellers. They're selling at least 8 brands on Amazon. Here's 22,000 of them. And Amazon, of course, has a lot of brands. These big companies have lots of brands. And once again, I don't wanna look at those, but here's something really powerful. I can actually skip forward using this button, and I'll jump to the next 1,000. So here's the next 1,000 wholesalers. So these guys are doing 1.2 million a month, and that's kind of still too rich for my blood. So I'm actually gonna jump even one page further. Okay, so these guys are doing 600,000 a month, still very big, very healthy sellers, and you can keep going if you want to, but I'm gonna jump into one of these. Let me find one that has a good healthy amount of brands. I'm just gonna do best WH, and they have board games. They have 105 different board games. Let me look and see all of the brands that they're carrying. So here's all the brands that they're carrying. Here's how much revenue best WH, which is the seller name, is generating each month off of each of these brands. Here's how much brand share they have. What that is that's of all the total sales of WizKids, what percentage does best WH have? So they have 5.3%, they have 0.3, they have 100%. So instantly I know that this one where they have 100% isn't an opportunity. They probably have a direct relationship here. So let's do some filtering real quick. I don't want to see any brands where they have 100%. I actually don't even want to see anything where they have more than 50%. So this cuts down our list to 568 brands that these guys are selling. And now let's do a little bit of a revenue filter. I want to find a brand where these guys are making at least $500 a month. So here's 170 brands where, once again, the estimated brand share is less than 50%, and these guys are generating at least $500 in revenue. Once again, we're gonna hit our collections button, click here, add to a collection, wholesale product hunting, and we keep going from there. Now, one thing that's also really powerful here is we can actually use this list to help me find my next wholesaler I want to imitate. So let's look at WizKids. Let's see who else sells WizKids, and from there we can branch out. So we see that WizKids themselves sells it at 25%. Token Trade Games sells it, Empire Games, and then there's Best WH, which we came from. Let's jump into Token Trade. Let's see all of the brands that they sell. And we can repeat the process. One thing that's really nice with our collections feature is that it won't add duplicates, so you don't have to worry about that. If you were doing this in Excel, you'd have to go through and clean out duplicates every so often. Here, we don't actually have to worry about that at all. Okay, once again, estimated brand share. I'm gonna say I don't want them to have 50% or more. and these guys don't actually have that problem. And then I'm gonna say that I want them to be doing at least $500 a month in revenue with this company. And I'm going to add all of these to my collection. And another thing I'm gonna do is, we already checked out WizKid for other people. Let's jump into GMT Games. So I'm using the sellers to find brands and the brands to find sellers. So we're not far from some really incredible rock climbing. And when you're rock climbing, one thing that's really important is most people think that it's your arms that's what really powers you and really controls the way that you climb, but it's actually so much in the legs and using both. So you climb with your legs, then you climb with your arms, you climb with your arms, then you climb with your legs. You're always going back and forth, and that's how you're able to sustain a good climb. Well, it's the same thing when using Smart Scout. I'm using sellers to find brands, brands to find sellers, sellers to find brands, and brands to find sellers. And we could do this in perpetuity and build a huge list of products, but we already have a good list of brands. So let's actually jump back. Let's jump into our collection and see where we've gotten so far. I'm gonna jump into my collections. There's that wholesale product hunting collection. We have 709 brands already. Let's look at all of the brands that we've found. And then let's go ahead and let's hit columns. Let's actually, okay. Here's all the brands we found so far. Let's go ahead and do some filtering. So first off, we want Amazon's in-stock rate to max at 20%. So that's gonna trim our list down quite a bit. Okay, so there's 456 left. We want there to be at least, for each of these, we want there to be at least 2 sellers. Well, at least 1 FBA seller and at least 2 sellers. So here's 327 opportunities for us. And then from here, you can just go through analyzing, figuring out where you want to start. You can sort it by category, but here's 327 opportunities for you to dive in and start having a conversation with that brand. You can also go one layer deeper. You can jump into the products of any one of these companies. Let me just scroll down and let's see. Yeah, so these guys, let's look at these guys' products. They're doing $34,000 a month on these SKUs. There's 24 different sellers. So maybe we want to find with a little bit less sellers. There's 18 sellers on this one, and you can jump into any one of these and find products. But like I said, there's finding products and there's finding brands. It's good enough to where we can start having a conversation with that brand. We can start looking into how do I source this brand, which we have multiple other brands, multiple other videos talking about how do I source a brand after I've found a good brand. And I'll make sure to link those in the description so you can jump into those and you can understand this process. But this really is how I like to go hunting for products. This is how we do Amazon wholesale product hunting using Smart Scout. And for those of you listening, we have a special coupon, SMART 2024 will give you 25% off Smart Scout for your first 3 months using the tool. There's also a 7-day free trial, so get in there, start doing some product hunting, comment the success that you're finding here in the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you here next time.